Drake mocked slavery and thought the shit was funny. Who would have thought this would be the motherfucker who would be the only one out of the three to stand on what he's behind and give the
What's good, everybody? It's Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction. Hey, we got another video for y'all reaction to Deleted, the villain. Kendrick Lamar is a contradiction. Now, if you're new to the channel, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, notification bell is on so you don't miss when I drop a new video on the road to 5K. Man, so when I did the reaction to the Kendrick interview, and I felt that there was going to be people who instantly was just all like, well, Kendrick, is a hypocrite, and they've been saying that and different things like that. And I could see where people may have thought that he was being contradictory. But I explained in that video how I felt like there was a different energy from what J. Cole did and what Kendrick was saying in that interview. Now, some people may be like, oh, you're just glazing, da, da, da. No, I like I said, I look at this both as a musician, rapper, artist myself, and also as a fan. And the way it's like Kendrick will say certain things and then people just won't accept it. And it's just all like, but he said this, So with that being said, the villain has dropped this video. Let's see what he's thinking.
Is that a contradiction? He contradicting himself again. Of course that's a contradiction. The f you think life is?
All right, y'all. You know I ain't biased here. I ain't gonna lie, I damn near needed some upliftment to even do this video. I'm tapped out. I'm exhausted. When the hell is Tyler coming out? I need something new. This will probably be the last take I have for this big three beef, if you even want to call it a beef. At this point, it's more like tofu. It seems that on Kendrick's side, I'm the only creator that's gonna say this. I've watched so many people's takes on this interview, and I'm actually the only person that seems to feel this way. So maybe I'm the problem. What did Kendrick say again on Father Time?
Guess I'm not mature as I think. Got some healing to do.
Yeah, I guess that's me right now. It's good. I could be the only one that feels this way. Shit, I'ma stand on it. K-Dot's interview had all us hip-hop fans fucked up. And I don't have time to argue with the writers that act like academics Big Chalupa with extra sour cream gurgling at, making excuses or rebuttals of how they agree or love the interview and I'm crazy. All the people that
Well, see, the thing is that's the beauty of this, is that you can have an opinion. And just because I may not agree with a person's take doesn't mean that their take is wrong or that they're glazing. That's the thing that I don't understand in this particular period of time. Now, I get what he's saying. He's not biased, because that's true. Like, I'm glad that he actually did this video to be like, hey, I'm not biased. I'm going to call it like it is. But like I said in my original video talking about the interview, it's easy to see it that way. But Kendrick's literally saying how he thought of everything, and people can think what they want about that. But to me, I don't think that is glazed. It's just that's the way that I understood it, So let's see in what ways he's talking about this.
I'm gonna say
he doesn't need to have a different answer. He can answer the way he wants to.
Ask me if I care, because I don't. As a hip-hop fan, I hated it. As a stand on all 10 type of dude, I hated it even more. Was it brilliant to take control over the interview and not let anyone ask you tough, specific, uncomfortable questions? Hell yeah, that was brilliant. Am I for having your day one old label mate SZA interview you? But also a low-key statement, throwing a slight shade at Drake because he stated SZA got you wiped down.
You ain't in no big three, SZA got you wiped down.
Around the time he had an anthem with her and Sexy Red. So this interview screams loudly of whose side she's on, especially knowing Drake is definitely sad and bothered by this because he's always uptight about his old flings where he made a living off of making songs about them. It's also coming full circle to the initial diss on the BET Cypher in which Kendrick disses Drake, calling him sensitive on how he took the Control verse earlier that year.
I'm about to crack the Da Vinci Code, yeah, and nothing been the same since they dropped Control and tucked the sense of the rapper back in his pajama clothes.
With a younger SZA bobbing her head in the background. All that was perfect. It was a chef's kiss. And I get why hip-hop media could feel away. Kendrick went to Harper Bazaar magazine that has nothing to do with the culture. But I don't blame Kendrick, since most of the big hip-hop media outlets are Drake guzzlers, and they played on Dot's name, gaining full control of how you're perceived without misconstruing your words. That was all calculated and strategic and just dope.
Now, what he said, like, that's what I like about Villain, like, Deleted's viewpoint on things, because it's not like he's jumping out the window, just crashing out and being like, yo, this person's this person's this. He completely understands why Kendrick is doing what it is that he's doing in this particular aspect. Like I said, I'm curious to see where his thinking is in regards to him not standing on, you know, business and everything else.
But with all that being said, I feel that the interview shouldn't have happened if he was going to make a hypocritical and contradicting statement, specifically about the song Not Like Us. This video will focus solely on that particular segment of the interview. While other creators have highlighted the positive aspects, such as Kendrick's reflections on his personal growth, I'll be addressing the specific issue that's currently gaining significant attention on social media. And I know y'all gonna hate me for this video. It's good. Villain type shit. Gotham City. It is what it is. But one thing is for sure. This just made me appreciate the greats even more. Tupac and Biggie, Hova and Nas, 50 Cent and M versus Ja Rule, Eminem versus ICP, Jay-Z versus Dipset, Lil Wayne versus The Eclipse. I appreciate real hip hop, real rap, the battles.
So I'm just guessing. I don't know if this is where he's gaining or going with it. But it sounds like him thinking that Kendrick isn't standing on business is the fact that Kendrick said that it was about as far as the person that he represents. And many people took that as like, but the whole song was about Drake. What are you talking about? And this is where I explained as far as in the video, because to throw out an explanation for why just for the act of hating, and I'm not saying that he's hated or anything like that, to me doesn't make sense, you know, and you can not like it, but to throw out an explanation for why things are the way they are, to me, like, I just wouldn't do it. So for me, when I saw that part, and again, this is just me assuming that this is what he has an issue with. When I saw that, and he's bringing this up, even the fact that he was saying that he wasn't angry. Yeah, like that's why I mentioned as far as like actors and, you know, certain musicians playing the character to be able to evoke certain things. And I said, me personally, you know, it's hard for me to just like dive into that if I'm not in that moment currently, like to rehash out certain things that piss me off for the sake of executing something and then jumping back out. Like, you know, I'm not good at doing that. So I just go in at the moment that I'm feeling to write out whatever and capture that particular energy. Kendrick said that he doesn't do that, that he can just kind of go in and do. And like I said in the other video, I was just all like, it the same way that a lot of people felt Watch the Party Die was about Drake, but it was more so the state, the culture. I had said, I was just all like, with what Kendrick said in this interview, it's like he used Drake as an avatar because he's the most popular representation of that. That's just my opinion, but let's see
The
what
war
Will said.
wounds, the scars, the competition. I'm a hip hop head, a natural competitor. I see blood when it's wartime. I play to win. And in my fantasy of a world, being a content creator, to battle against the Drake Gurglers fan base, such as academics, I put myself on Kendrick's team by default. Even though he could care less and don't know I exist, no one asked me to do this. That's on me. It's annoying as fuck though, that I have to unfortunately be the guy that's unbiased. Also the guy who can take a step back and look at the entire picture regardless of how I feel. I hate that I have to admit that Drake's bitch ass had the old school rap spirit in him. Seen blood, wore up, and stood on everything he felt and said. Again, I'm not biased. Even if I don't like Drake for how he moves in the industry or the things he's done to the industry and hip hop in general, or approving the prejudiced takes like What's the Dirt, who says racially biased, stereotypical comments like Kendrick being the messiah of rap and a milkman, or especially when Drake mocked slavery and thought the shit was funny. Who would have thought this would be the motherfucker who would be the only one out of the three to stand on what he's behind and give the
Now, a part of me, like, I'm not making that face or anything like that to try to just hype up Kendrick or J. Cole or anything like that. But I don't agree with that take because Drake still, like, yeah, he has this, you can say he has see, I think what deleted is mistaking for the hip hop spirit with Drake is just straight up pettiness. Like it is just straight up pettiness. I don't think that is the hip hop spirit that Drake is quote unquote standing on because at the end of the day, what does Drake got to stand on? He lost. Like that point blank. It's just all like, okay, J. Cole backed out in the before things really even got to any point, and it was just back and forth between Kendrick and Drake. Yeah, you could say like that's like giving saying, oh yeah, that fighter has heart because he went against, such and such, even though he knew he was gonna lose and get knocked out, like but we still cheered him all because he had heart. And I guess, you can do that. And I guess like my thing with Drake, it is just the non-growth aspect and just some of the more recent stuff that he's been putting out even prior to the whole beef just hasn't been as good, and all the things Kendrick pointed out. So that's why it's just interesting for him to say that Drake was the only one that stood on business. It's just all like, he had no choice but to stand on business because he practically was the one who wanted this to go down, to the point of just taunting him, talking about like, hey, drop, like come out, like we waiting on you, da 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 da. So and there's also like a level of ego there. The thought that you was gonna actually do something, and now just a lot of what Drake is doing just is spiraling. But let's see.
fighting spirit of not backing down by any means and not contradicting or being a hypocrite during the entire battle. And we are talking about strictly rap, the lyrics. This is what we're talking about here. We're talking about straight up beef battle mode. J. Cole folded, Kendrick's contradicting himself. Drake has remained Drake in this beef. Now, that could be a good thing and a bad thing, I guess. I mean, if you want to be...
See, I don't think that the whole idea that Kendrick is contradicting. He said, keep it in rap, keep it in all that. So then why use the interview as that? I guess because he's talking about the particular song. But to sit up there and to look at Kendrick as the writer who, since the beginning, who's always done something deeper And though in the battle, him going at Drake, there's been aspects of him trying to give him guidance, trying to warn him, trying to let him know of different things. I think that that can exist while dropping the diss song, while that diss song also representing, because that's what he wanted to represent. That's what people wanted to know. What does the not like us mean? Not like us as far as black, not like us as far as like, you know, X, Y, and Z. And when you really take a look at the lyrics, it is multi-dimensional as far as that. But with the explanation that Kendrick gave in the interview, it does make sense that he was saying, not like us, you're not like us, the moral person who this is where I'm currently at. And I think that certain wording is what's throwing people off into thinking like Kendrick is somehow going back on what he's saying and that it wasn't about Drake and I wasn't angry and da 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 da. And it's just all like you're talking to either way, you're talking to and about the winner of the battle. Like no matter what. Like if the you think that the fighter in the ring that's sitting up there who wins the bout and then goes into the corner cries that takes away from the fact that he still won. No, not saying that's what Kendrick's doing, but him giving that explanation doesn't take away the fact that he won. Doesn't take away what he did to Drake, you know? And to me, it's just all like, it was all assumption, and we hear it from the artist that, hey, this is what it was actually about. And again, I feel like he's just used Drake as an avatar. And for him to say, like, him talking about the PDF stuff, him talking about the colonizer stuff, it makes sense for him to say, like, yes, you're not like us by way of these standards that I feel that I'm at right now. And that makes sense, you know?
Morally correct, right? Maybe that shows that Drake has no growth as a person. I mean, we all know that he acts like a man-child. But at the same time, this is hip-hop. And if I have to compare Drake to previous hip-hop, legendary hip-hop beefs, he's moving like a hip-hop artist. I hate that I have to actually give this dude props when it comes to hip-hop and battle rap, because I would like it to be about the nigga I'm siding with. Unlike you Drake fans, I know when it's time to say we took an L, and this is the time. And unlike you Meat Rod and J. Cole and even K-Dot fans, I know when to say I can't stand by something. And I'm not asking for him to incriminate himself as a gang member. I'm not asking him to name drop Drake either. But to say not like us is about his morals as a man is bizarre. No pun intended.
No, it's
During
not.
his interview with...
No, it is not. No, it is not. When you listen to the lyrics, him saying not like us, whether he's talking about Drake, even just the idea, they not like us, they not like us. Them, whether that be the people who are doing the type of things that Drake does. Again, Drake is the avatar for this. So even if he's going at Drake, it is bigger than Drake. So, hey, Deleted is cool to have his own thoughts on it. And I like the thought as far as this and him being unbiased. I just personally don't agree with that aspect of it.
SZA, she would ask, can I ask you a hypermasculine question? You can also tell me to shut the fuck up. What does not like us mean to you? Kendrick will respond laughing, not like us? Not like us is the energy of who I am, the type of man I represent. Now, if you identify with that man that I represent, SZA would intervene, break the man down for me. Kendrick Lamar would say, this man has morals. He has values. He believes in something. He stands on something. He's not pandering. He's a man who can recognize his mistakes and not be afraid to share the mistakes and can dig deep down into fear-based ideologies or experiences to be able to express them without feeling like he's less of a man. If I'm thinking of not like us, I'm thinking of me and whoever identifies with that. SZA then asks, now can I say something else in that realm, or you want me to get away from that? Can I ask you something something else. Kendrick Lamar asks, is it mean? SZA says no. It's more like, I thought it was really interesting that there was any consensus at all that you might be an angry individual. For me, I don't find that any energy that comes from you comes from an angry place. And actually, the last hour and change pretty much solidifies that it's almost from a yogic, monk-like place. So when you feel the surge of energy in records like that, is it anger? Kendrick Lamar would then respond, I don't believe in an angry person, but I do believe in love and war, and I believe they both need to exist. And my awareness of that allows me to react to things but not identify with them as who I am. Just allowing them to exist and allowing them to flow through me. That's what I believe. Basically, Kendrick's saying he won't let a battle change his morals or him as a person and what he stands for. SZA then responds, I'm gonna quit while I'm ahead before I say something crazy. Man, he should have said it means what it says, not like us, and kept it pushing. That's just me.
This video is sponsored by yours truly, Mr. Composition, the MC that writes fiction. And for the month of October on my Mr. Composition Music YouTube page, I am doing one-shot music video a day. So for 31 days, there will be a new one-shot video, and the goal is to get that channel to 1,000 subscribers. So make sure to check that out, subscribe, show some love to the videos, and drop a comment, man. Let me know that you came from this channel. But anyways, guys, back to the video. I mean, whether or not he said exactly what the leader just said, or the explanation that he gave, it didn't matter, because the question was, what did it mean to Kendrick? Fuck what we think. That wasn't the question. The question was, to the artist that created the track, what did it mean? So if you feel like him giving that explanation, even though this has been a consistent energy from Kendrick since to me, overly dedicated. That's when I first heard of Kendrick. That's what made me get into Kendrick's music. If you think him not being consistent in that aspect of him being able to jump into these particular type of things, and again, like he said, not identify with it, we can like it when he's doing all right, or, the Black of the Berry, or, a Not Like Us or whatever, but then he's explaining what it actually means versus what we perceive it as. He can get angry and get into these modes to record or perform these particular tracks. Why is this any different? That's where I'm confused at the logic behind that. So because he is being consistent in how he thinks about things and expresses things, that takes away from the hip hop spirit. Like, I get a lot of these people like, I want to see blood, I want to see not actual blood and different things like that. But the leader mentioned several people, the 50 Cents, the Eminems, and different things like that. Basically, if they were to interview Nas and he was to sit up there and say, well, what does ether mean to you? And he's just all like, well, it represents, it talks about instead of saying, well, it's the ether, this Ninja Jay-Z, that would be, I guess that's what he's basically trying to say. Like, these people, the Biggies, everything like that, who are unfortunately passed, due to this type of stuff, because he's not just a rah F Drake in the interview and different things like that. He's somehow not in the spirit. We're talking about keeping it rap. That's what Kendrick did. This is talking about an interview, which an aspect of the interview dived into that. But me personally, I don't see anything wrong with that. Now, again, If y'all want to see the full video, because again, I'm not trying to, take all his stuff and everything like that. If you want to see the full video, definitely go to it and check it out. That's just my interpretation of it. It's not to be a D writer or anything like that. Like I said, prior to seeing this video and actually doing a reaction as far as the interview, I saw it a different way. I didn't, I don't think the answer that he gave should take away or that he's a contradiction and different things like that. Could be. Maybe I'm just looking at it, the wrong way. But even when it came to the J. Cole stuff, and when Drake does something that's actually interesting, I do give props to that. Most of the stuff that this Ninja Drake does, just ain't feeling it. The way J. Cole had went about that, and I gave grace for the idea that, hey, you know, when it came to that aspect, and still, he's still J. Cole, can't take away the fact that he rapped, criticizing now one aspect. And then with this interview, I don't think that was not, and I'm not saying deleted things says that it was wrong or whatever, but to kind of say that he shouldn't have done the interview, I think off of the one interview and the artist asking a very specific question, you know, I don't think to write that all off, especially after the dust had settled. Like he won the freaking battle in the war when it came to this. So you gonna take away the medals now? Like all the, stuff he got, the spoils of war because of one interview. Now Kendrick is this going back on what he said, not standing on business type of thing. I don't know. I don't know. But like I said, shout out to the leader because he does give an interesting viewpoint as far as with this. And like I said, I'm glad that he's not biased. But I can disagree, with that particular take. But hey, make sure to give him a follow. But yeah, guys, it's Mr. Composition MC that writes fiction. Back at it with another reaction. Make sure to like, subscribe, notification bells on so you don't miss when I drop a new video on the road to 5K. Make sure to check out the description for my music, books, comics, and more. All right, ciao. Peace.